and welcome to your messages for the week. Today is Sunday, the 9th of April, 2023, and otherwise known for a lot of the world as Easter Sunday. So for those of you celebrating Easter, have a very happy Easter Sunday. If you haven't already seen the messages for the month of April, I'll put a link in the description, video in the end screen. So you can catch up with those as well. Let's have a look and see what the messages are for us this week. Take a deep breath and activate your own intuition. They all came out when I said that. Yeah, I'm keeping them. Don't always keep them when they jump out like that, but I'm keeping those. There was something about the way they came out when I said activate your intuition. And oh no, okay. More coming out. Anything else? Okay. We have 6. That's quite a lot. Yeah, 6. Let's see. Let's dive straight in. Happy families. Okay, so this might not be your blood family, but it could be. So this is an appropriate one today because, of course, a lot of people will have time off work and will be spending time with their loved ones and with their nearest and dearest. It will be a bank holiday in most parts of the world, I'm sure. Spiritually guided, emotionally fulfilling. Of course, it's a beautiful time of year. Here's the happy family. Okay. Following intuition, being creative. Okay, so this card is a lovely one to start off with because it's saying that we're coming from a happy, healthy place of spiritual guidance and reminding us that following our intuition is important. So, new avenues, the Ace of Cups. So we've got 10 of Cups here, which is a really powerfully positive card. And this card is also about the happiness that comes after some sadness or the happiness that comes after some suffering of some sort. So whatever's caused that. So there, it is beautiful. It is that kind of happiness that makes you want to throw your arms open and look up at the sky. It is beautiful. And this card is coming to say that this is a new way of being. This is a new way of thinking, a new way of feeling. There's definitely new ways of being and living and giving and sharing and all these kind of things. So this is where our peace lies, and this is emotionally fulfilling. It's a very healing path. It's a very spiritually guided path, and it's one that values emotions. Cups is the water sign, and it represents our emotions. So it's a new way. This newfound happiness and joy is probably because of a new way of looking at your emotions, a new way of working with your emotions. It could be that you're no longer triggered by things. It could be that things that you're no longer suffering from whatever you might have been suffering from before. There's some kind of release going on. Yeah, let's have a look at the others, and then I might get oh my goodness, we've got the Magician. What beautiful cards we have here. The Magician, the Alchemist. He's literally alchemizing fear into love, and he's the creator, he's the magician. He's creating miracles and magic, isn't he? He has all the elements there on his table. He has the wands and the pentacles and the cups and the swords. That is the air, the water, the earth, and the fire, the transformative fire. And he's creating his own abundance through his own ability to alchemize, to look at things in a different way, to look at the suffering in a different way. And that came up before, that's come up before, looking at the suffering in a different way. So yes, and we are all the alchemist. Oh my goodness, we've got the world card here as well. So the whole world is changing. I know where this is going. I know where this is going. We've got the 10 of Swords here, right? I'm gonna do this and everything falling into place, right? I'm gonna do this as an all together. Because this is to me really showing us how we go from this suffering, okay, into this happiness and joy. and how everything falls into place, right? Everything's falling into place. It's just coming easily. And how the whole world, right? You are the creator of your own experience, but by doing what you do, and changing your own reality and changing your own experience, you are changing the experience of the collective. Because although we are all creating our own experience, and we have ultimate control over our energy, sovereignty over our energy, we know how to raise our frequency, and we know how to harness our life force energy, to raise our frequency and to expand into higher levels of being. And when we all do that, it affects the collective. But the collective is still a reflection of a part of all of us. So this is kind of individual. You are the creator, and this is how you, as the creator of your own experience, affects the whole world, I want to say, and how you can transmute, alchemize, these are thoughts. Swords are air, so they're thoughts. So this guy is rock bottom. He's back at square one, okay, because of all these thoughts, okay. Thoughts and beliefs have emotions attached to them. If you want to release that negative emotion, change the thought, change your thought, change your life, change your beliefs. So his beliefs, the old way of doing things, done and dusted, done and dusted. The old way of doing things, done and dusted. Everything is falling into place for us to create heaven on earth, for us to create what we want to create. And it's really reminding me of an interaction I had yesterday when I was doing a fair with a really, really good friend of mine, who I really love and respect a lot. And in the conversation I had with her, I had this realization, or I had this confirmation of a realization. So what was happening was, this friend is opening up a healing center. I will put a link in the description. It's called the Soul Sanctuary. It's in Javea. So if you're in the Javea area, check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Although I think we only have a Facebook link at the moment, but I'll put the address there. So it's a big space, and it's a community center, basically community healing and holistic center to reach people with therapies. There's rooms for therapists to rent. There's space for workshops where people can go and share all their workshops, their knowledge and everything else, and go and learn. And this friend of mine has put, this is a really important point, right, for everybody, her time, her money, her energy, and her resources. I want you to remember that. Time, energy, money, and resources into this dream of hers, okay? And it's suddenly taking off, and everything falling into place, right? And some things exceeding her expectations. So she's selling products like books, crystals, and jewelry, healing jewelry, and things like that, for people. But what she wasn't expecting was the donations. People were just giving her stuff to sell, and offering their services, and all of this. Loads of people just really wanting to help, loads of people really wanting to support, and people just donating, donating their resources, their time, their energy, and their money. And it was just kind of really beautiful. And so as we were talking about how everything's falling into place, she commented quite briefly about how it was coinciding with things in the outside world falling out of place, a lot of systems in the outside world collapsing, and a lot of things changing in the matrix, or whatever you want to call it. I call it the stuff that's on the screen because it doesn't affect our actual reality. But she commented on how that was all falling away, right? The more that her dream was falling into place, the more the things that we don't like in the world, or the things that she didn't like in the world, was falling away, as if it was some kind of coincidence. And I just had this aha moment that said, that's not a coincidence, because we're all creating our own reality. Okay, we're creating our own reality. And so everyone's at a different stage, and everyone's got a unique experience, but together we create collective experience because there is a collective consciousness. And if we all have the same thought, or we all have thoughts resonating at the same frequency, they will create in the collective, of course. And then you've got more people energizing it, which is why it's so important to put your time, your money, your resources, and your energy on what you want to create. This is the most important point, because when you're putting it on what you want to create, like my friend is doing, then what you don't want falls away. Because what gets energized is what you're putting your time, your money, your energy, and your resources on. It gets energized and then it gets pushed along. And that's why everything falls into place so easily. And that's why all these people come and help you. And that's why, because basically the things that you don't want to happen in life, you're not focusing on them. You're focusing on what you do want to create. Then the outside world changes. When you focus on what you want to create, the things that you don't want to create, they change, they fall away because you're not focusing on them. So it's not a coincidence that for her, in her reality, the things that were bothering her in the outside world were falling away, therefore not bothering her. So it really reminded me of what I went through last year with the garden retreat, because the garden retreat was born, and then I was focusing my time, my money, my energy, and my resources all into the garden retreat. And the rest of the world kind of faded into insignificance. It really did. For me, it faded into insignificance. I wasn't putting my attention there. I wasn't putting my money there. I wasn't putting my resources there. I wasn't putting my energy there. And for me, I don't feel triggered by the collective. I don't feel any suffering from the collective. This is the point. I can look on a screen and see what's going on in the outside world, but with no trigger, no expectations, no judgment. Maybe sometimes the judgment. It's still working on that, but you know what I mean. So this is beautiful, because the point I want to make, and the point that the cards are saying, this is how we change the world. We change the world by changing where we put our focus. Where we put our focus. Focus on your family, and the first thing I said was, it might not be your blood family, it could be your tribe, it's your community. Okay, the community that you're creating, the community that you find yourself in. I just found myself in this community in Costa Blanca. It's absolutely amazing, where people are. There's so many healing places. Everyone is so unique. It's just, everyone is just so amazing in their uniqueness. But so many people just healing various things, animals, humans, the environment. There's, your organic fruit and veg farmers are there dishing their stuff out, all trying to get established. Everything's a little bit raw, everything's new, everything's, things aren't polished. There's people wanting homeschooling. There's a lot of little schools opening up, where people are helping these, the young families, that the people that don't want to send their kids to the system schools, and you don't want to go into the system the health system. There's loads of places available now in this area. If you want to buy, organic this, or artisan products or whatever, there just seems to be everything in this community, and it's all new and fresh, and it's brilliant, and it is like being back at square one, but in the most glorious way, in the best way, because we're taking all these beliefs out and we're starting from scratch. This is what I say with this card, starting from scratch. But it doesn't have to be hard work and toil. It's about listening to your heart and taking that leap of faith. I'm quite surprised the fall didn't come up. Taking that leap of faith, because when you take that leap of faith and channel your resources, your money, your energy, and your time, all valuable stuff, right? Your consciousness is all valuable stuff. It's your new currency. When you focus it in what you want to create, then time is an illusion. Remember, we had that last week. So therefore things will fall into place, and it's beautiful. It's not about time, it's not about money, it's not about any of those things. It's about putting your focus on what you want to create, and then the outside world will change. Your outside world, the outside world that you're seeing. We're not all seeing the same thing in the outside world. It depends what channels you look at, right? Some people are experiencing it. So some people are experiencing heaven on earth already, because remember, it's not a place. If it is a physical place, it's born out of a level of consciousness. And then there's lots of people that are seeing the new way of living and giving, and the new community, and their role in that community, where there's no competition and there's no judgment. Everyone's just so divine in their uniqueness of sharing their gifts. So there could be lots of healers, but everyone is different, and the right people will go to the right place at the right time. And there's not a competition, because everyone's offering such a unique service. So it's absolutely wonderful, and that's the way it can be, but you have to take that leap. So some people are experiencing that. Other people are experiencing coming away from the old paradigm, shall we say. And if you are experiencing still some greed, some control, government control, or some manipulation, making you feel like this. If you are experiencing stuff like that, have a look inside yourself and ask yourself, where am I being greedy? Where am I being manipulative? And where am I being controlling? Because although it's not on the same scale as what you're witnessing in the outside world, there will be some kind of greed. If the outside world is triggering you, or if it's causing you suffering in any way, then it's because energetically there's a resonance with your energy. So somewhere in your energy, you could be greedy, as in eating more than you need, buying more than you need, taking up people's time more than you need. You could be focused on money, trying to bring more money in than you need. In all areas of life, there can be ways that we are greedy, of course, and ways that we are controlling. We might be trying to control people, our partners, our children. We might be trying to control them by, even if we're giving them advice for their own good, we're still trying to control them. We're still trying to manipulate them in a certain way, even if we're perceiving it as being for their own good. When we let go, we will see that people will find their own way, and they will find their own way, maybe not the way you want them to, especially if it's your children or your partners, but they'll get there their own way, because there's so many roads to Rome. And the way that you think is best is the way that was best for you, if that makes sense. Doesn't mean it's best for everyone else. Of course, we're going to share our opinions, we're sharing our thoughts and everything else. And here I am doing it. But it's about letting go of the control. So where are you trying to control the outcome of a situation? Because when you're trying to control the outcome of a situation, you are trying to manipulate stuff. And where are you pushing energy where it doesn't want to go? That's also a form of manipulation. And it might not be on the scale of what you're witnessing in the collective, but it's still the frequency. We're talking about the frequency of that energy. It cannot bother you, and it cannot appear in your reality unless it's resonating with a part of you. So if you're experiencing any kind of restriction, any kind of suffering, have a look within, because it's about changing within, alchemizing what's within by changing the way you look at it, to change what's in the world. Okay, and there are some people who are experiencing severe suffering, and they're thick in the density. Now, on some soul level, we've chosen our adversity, and we've all chosen adversity, one way or another. And there's different forms of adversity. Of course there are, but we've all chosen our adversity, and we did it for the purpose of learning to grow and to love ourselves. Because at the end of the day, it's about loving yourself. Loving yourself is what is going to create a loving world. loving yourself, focusing on your reality, your community. This card is saying focus on your reality, your community, your role in the community. What can you do to help the community? Where can you show your kindness? Where can you share your gifts? Okay, because that's the new path that's going to lead to peace, a new way of doing things, a new way of thinking about things. Okay, where are you going to focus? It's a beginning, there's a new beginning. Where are you going to focus? Your time, your energy, your money, and your resources. Where are you going to focus them? And transmuting that trigger, when you get triggered, you have any suffering, focus on it and see, why is that triggering me? What's going on in the outside world? Where am I being whatever it is? Where am I being, manipulative, controlling, or whatever it might be, greedy? Where am I being unloving? If you're finding you're surrounded by unloving people, where are you being unloving to yourself? Or where are you being unloving to others? It's the same thing. Everybody outside of us is a part of us, and they're just there to play their role in helping us play this game. It's like a game, and everybody that comes into your reality is playing a part to help you have a realization. So my interaction with my friend yesterday was so beautiful, and also it gave me this aha moment. So by loving others, we're loving ourselves. Loving ourselves, we're loving others. And that's how we're going to have a loving and caring and conscious world. I hope that makes sense. So if you're triggered or suffering at all, especially when you're looking at what's going on in the collective, please remember that it's a reflection of a part of you. And if you put all of your consciousness on what you want to create, you can alleviate that suffering. Well, let's make this bit clear as well. You hear some people saying, I want to eradicate suffering. I want to wipe out hunger in the world. I want to, dismantle all of this. I want to, and the truth is we can't do that because of energy. Everything is energy, and energy cannot be dissipated. Energy cannot just disappear. It can change form, but it can't just disappear. But what it can do is disappear from your reality. Okay, because you are vibrating at a certain frequency, and everything is in the all that is. We talk about the all that is. Some people say the universe or whatever, but there's multi-universes. But the all that is, the everything, and in the everything exists. The evil and the good. Okay, everything. And the universe is mental. We know that from the first principle of Hermeticism. Check out the video in the description, video in the end screen, if you want more information on that. But the universe is mental. Okay, so anything that's been thought or imagined exists in this field of consciousness. Okay, the all that is. Every thought, every memory, every dream. That's why they say if you can dream it, you can create it. Because it exists, right? Now, when lots of people have the same thought, then it really exists. That's when it starts coming into physical form. Okay, but everything exists. If you can even think it, if you can imagine it, if you can dream it, the wackiest dream you've ever had, everything exists. Okay, and it always will. So we're not trying to stop things from existing, but you only get to experience that which you resonate with. So we need to raise our frequency so that we experience that which we choose. We need to be conscious creators. That's what he's saying. Conscious creators. So that we choose to raise our frequency above the suffering. So the suffering will still be in existence in the all that is. But we can refer to it as history if you want. Everything's happening in the now. But if you want to refer to it as history, it will kind of put it in the past in some way. But if it exists, right, our only way to stop it appearing in our reality is to raise our frequency out of that frequency that it's in and take our consciousness and focus it on what we do want to create. Because when we focus our consciousness with our time, money, energy, and resources, we create. So then we're going to put into our mind what we want to create, put all our attention on it, and stop focusing on what we don't want to create. Then you will raise your frequency out of the suffering. But the suffering is part of the all that is. Evil, good, God, good God, evil. It's all two ends of the same string. Okay, two ends of the same string. It's all part of the all that is. But you get to choose where you pluck that string and put your focus on where you want to create and what go up to the good. Go up to the heaven on earth. Okay. And raise your frequency to that which is at the level of what you want to create. When you do that for yourself and your reality will change. And when we all do it, the reality of the collective changes. And that's how we change it. We change the collective by loving ourselves. Really, we should have been taught this in schools, shouldn't we? I hope that makes sense. Yes, I hope that makes sense. Because it makes sense to me. And some people might accuse you of sticking your head in the sand, but of course you're not sticking your head in the sand. You're doing quite the opposite, taking your head out of the sand and away from the suffering by raising your frequency. Now, if you're not sure how to raise your frequency, there are many ways, of course, to raise your frequency. But as a starter package, I do recommend my first book, Heal Yourself to Happiness, which is a simple guide to raising your vibration. And it is free to download from my website at deborahjanesutton.com. So download that and have a read. If you want the hard copy, the paperback copy, I'll put a link in the description to buying that from Amazon, and along with my second book, which is also available on Amazon. Healing the Soul, taking it all to another level. So yes, they're your cards for this week. So interesting one. Focus on your community, focus on your family, focus on what you want to create. Just with the love yourself as much as you can. Check out my Lessons in Awakening. Lots of information there that I think can help you with mastering your emotions, learning to love yourself, and forgiveness and understanding triggers and lots of things like that. So I'll put a link in the description as well to that. So yes, happy creating, and hopefully it won't be long before all that suffering is no longer in your reality. And if you do observe it, it won't be triggering you, won't be bothering you, because you're too busy creating heaven on earth. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you all. Have a fantastic week. See you in the next video. Bye for now.